So first of all, we'll look at the contraction he will. What I often hear is that people will either use he will, or if they're trying to say he'll, they'll still kind of say it as though they're saying he will, and they'll say it just quickly. So what you should be saying is he'll go, he'll like it, he'll think. And what I hear is he will go, he will like it. Nothing wrong with that in terms of being understood, but native speakers will rarely use the word will unless they're trying to stress it. So I would say will if I'm saying he will go and I'm trying to highlight that he will go. The reason that I don't want to use that if I'm not trying to stress it is that it sounds as though I'm disagreeing with you. If I say he will go, a native speaker will hear the subtext there of you saying, as though I said he won't go, and I'm saying, no, he will go. So if you use he will, you almost sometimes send the message of saying, no, he will, that you're immediately disagreeing. Whereas if you use he'll, that's just native natural speech. He'll go, he'll like that. It has no additional connotation. So the challenge, how to pronounce this easily and correctly. First of all, knowing that what the sounds are in heel. We have a tense E sound. We have the dark L, heel, heel. It almost, because we go from that E, bright E, to the little schwa of the dark L, the ul, it's almost like heel. It's almost like two syllables, heel, heel. When I go quickly and glide, I don't necessarily have a strong glide y sound in there, heel, but that's how we would pronounce this word heel, like the heel of your hand or the heel of your foot. This word heel, it's also the same as this word heel, to heel something. That's the basic pronunciation. He'll go, he'll like it, etc. In fast, fluent speech, for fluent connected speech, heel changes to more of a hill, which sounds like the word hill, he'll go. So in that case, I have the lax is sound. He'll go, he'll like it, he'll want to talk to you, etc. So if it's challenging to do this heel with that tense E, know that in connected speech, we often reduce that down to a he'll go, he'll have to say that. So you'll hear different pronunciations. The one you mostly want to avoid is using the full he will. So heel or hill are both natural and smooth for fluent speech. Then when we contract she will, we get she'll go. Same kind of pronunciation as heel. We just change it to an SH sound, the sh sound. So she'll go. Again, kind of an E, you'll, she'll go. And also then it gets reduced to she'll like that. She'll have to say something. She'll go. So our tense E gets reduced to an ill because that she will, that she'll contraction gets contracted and reduced even further. It's not usually the stress part of the sentence. The go, the verb, or the adjective following that comes at the end will be what's stressed. When we go from you will to contract to you'll, it sounds like you'll. Again, if it's stressed and tense, you'll. There we do have a little bit of a W sound because we're moving from a rounded shape to the dark L. So you can think of that kind of as you'll. And its reduction becomes more like yull, with an sound, a schwa, or a sound, yull. So again, tense and reduced. When we have wheel has the same pronunciation as the word wheel, gets reduced to will. This is one that's a little tricky. So if I'm saying we'll have to talk about it, if I'm going slowly, I may use that tense E. If I'm going quickly, we'll have to. It's actually sounds the same as the word will that we're reducing out of. Tricky, but useful to know. It will becomes it'll, and here's where we end up flapping that T. It sounds like it'll. That's the same thing we do in words like little and Seattle. So being able to do that light flap and then the dark L, it'll. They'll sounds like tense A. Sounds like similar to if I had the word ale or fail, then I add they'll. Again, a little bit of a glide sound for my ya, and they'll. Then it gets reduced. If it does get reduced, it becomes more of a they'll have to. They'll have to. So my tense A can become a little bit more like an sound, they'll. So lots of different information here on ways to pronounce these contractions. I think typically thinking in your mind of the words like he'll, she'll, you'll, we'll, it'll, and they'll is the main pronunciation. And then knowing that those vowels can get a little bit reduced in your connected speech, that rather than he'll have to, it might become a little bit more like he'll have to, or she'll go there might become a little bit like she'll go there. You'll need to becomes more like you'll need to. We'll like that becomes more like we'll like that. It'll be good stays the same, it'll in all cases. They'll talk to you becomes a little bit more like they'll talk to you, they'll. Okay, so practice like I was doing in common phrases. And a great way to practice is to repeat the same. You can go through with go, I'll go, you'll go, he'll go. Oh, we didn't include I'll here. I'll tap that in at the end. So I'll sounds the same as this kind of aisle, like the grocery store. So thinking about it like an I'll with a little bit of a glide, I'll. And if it gets reduced, it's just I'll, maybe a little bit of little less diphthong there, but I would stick with I'll for that one. So run your way through the different pronouns with the contracted L's and different verbs, practice in phrases, and listen for how native speakers use this. And what you'll probably find is that you may have a tendency to cling to the using the word will, but I highly recommend moving towards these patterns because it's more natural and fluent. It's what native speakers do. And it does create a problem if you use the word will, and if it's a little bit stressed, it sounds argumentative, and you want to avoid that.